Previously we had a look at the root dir property, now we also have source dir. Now here we can set the source directory of our Next files. The root dir had to include the node modules folder. Source dir really just means where are all your Next folders, like components, layouts, pages. If you put them into a subfolder like client app, then you can just pass that name of the folder here. Directly to source dir, however. This should be a string, not an object. So you can just pass that name here, and now Next will look into this folder for all the pages folders, middleware folders, and so on. So if you want to have a different folder structure and put all these Next folders into a subfolder, this is how you can make Next aware of that. The transition property is a useful one for setting page transitions, i.e. animations during route changes. This can be a simple string like page, which will then look for certain CSS classes to apply them as a transition, or it's a JavaScript object where you have a name property that could then be page for this CSS class lookup I'll come back to, and then also the mode, which could be out in, to say the old page should be animated out before the new one comes in. And this is using the default Vue.js transition settings and features. Let me show you an example for this. I'll go to the assets folder and create a new styles subfolder, and in there I'll add a main.css file. Now I attached some code to this video. This is the animation code I want to play. It's taken from the Vue.js official docs. This is the code to basically animate elements in and out by changing the opacity. Now this is something I will save, and now in Next config I'll first of all include this as global CSS by going to the CSS array, pointing to the assets folder with the tilde sign at the beginning, and then styles, and then main.css. Now the name is fade, because Vue.js transitions are always structured to have the name and then different states, which are not part of the name. So fade is our name. With that we can go back to the config and set the name to fade here to use that animation. And now if I save this, I can go back to my application and reload it. And now let's see what happens if I go to blog. You see it smoothly fades out and the new page fades in. So this is now the animation we added, and you can of course add any animation you want, like sliding effects, spinning effects, fading effects, or no transition at all if you want. So this is all possible. If you don't set transition, then no transition will be applied. Now that's it for the main config I wanted to walk you through. Again, check out the last lecture in this module to find links to detailed config settings. There are also some things we'll dive in later in this course still. But for now, let's move on to two things we also saw in this file, plugins and modules, and let's find out what's up with these.